What is up, my friends? You are very, very welcome along to tonight's Anfield Agenda, late night agenda, where of course we're going to be speaking about the big news of the day, Leny Yoro agreeing a move to Manchester United. We're going to be asking what on earth is happening at Liverpool. And I've been reading through some of the comments as I always do before we start, and I can sense the frustration from lots of people in the chat. And you are all very welcome to have your say for or against the owners or whatever it is. All that I ask is that you show people respect with the way that you post, and we'll all get along just fine. Loads for me to go through tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming in. This is your show. This is your platform. You have your say. If you're happy, unhappy, worried, unworried, I want to know about it, because the bigger consensus we can get, the better. There is no two ways about this, my friends. This is a mess. This is an embarrassment. Congratulations to United for getting the player. But what happened to us being monitoring, waiting, looking, holding around, just in case Real Madrid didn't get that deal done? That quickly went away, and then all of a sudden we have the FSG apologists at the Echo coming out with the line that Liverpool aren't in a priority looking for a centre-back. It isn't a position that we need to fill. What? That and lots more, my friends, over the next couple of hours. I want to say a huge thank you to you all, by the way. The Anfield Agenda podcast, which of course we just released this week with the very first episode, has already charted in the top 200 podcasts in the UK for sport. We're up at about 122 already, one episode in. So I really do appreciate your support on that one. I uploaded another episode today where it's just myself speaking for about 20-25 minutes on the situation with Trent and Leny Yoro. If you're a podcast fan, please do search Anfield Agenda or whatever it is your podcast platform of choice, and you will find us on there. Right, look, there's no dressing this up. It is an embarrassment. Now, I'm not saying the world is over, the earth's fallen down, but how many times do we have to be sold down the river by our owners before some people grow a backbone and some people start to speak out? And before people come in and say, well, Craig, what do you want? Do you want oil baron owners? No, I don't. It doesn't have to be one extreme to the other. We can have a sensible, rational conversation. But once again, we've been sold the vision, sold the dream, and no delivery. No end product. No player, no signing. It isn't Real Madrid. If he'd gone to Real Madrid, I promise you I wouldn't be sitting here now as frustrated as I am. He's not on huge wages at Manchester United. You're looking at about 120 grand a week. Not ridiculous money. So what went wrong? Why were Liverpool so far removed from this conversation? Imagine if we had Saudi money. I don't want Saudi money, Steve. We don't need it, and that's the thing. I know that people are tempted to go from like one extreme to the other, but our owners could spend more money, mate, and that's where my frustration is. I've said it so many times. I don't think they're the worst owners in the world, but I've always maintained my stance that they're cheap, and they've lied to us again. We were told by everybody and sundry that if Real Madrid don't make the play, that Liverpool are looking, monitoring, and ready to move. Well, United got it done. No Champions League football, they still got it done. What have we done? Failed. Again. It's not 180k, Hamza. It's not 180k. That's an absolute lie. He's on €7 million per year before tax, plus 2 million in potential bonuses. That's about £120,000 per week. So again, happy to talk the numbers, happy to discuss them, but let's get the right numbers out there. He isn't on £180,000 a week or anything close to it. Do you think that Yoro won't perform to his expectations? Look, I don't know. Anybody signing Leny Yoro should be willing to be a little bit patient with the guy. He's 18 years of age, and it might take him time to settle in. Remember, when Real Madrid were looking at this kid, their note from their scouting department said, sign him at all costs. It doesn't matter if he takes time to settle into the team. It doesn't matter if he takes time to get to the level. They're convinced longer term that he'll get there. Now, I don't know, as of now, what happened with the Real Madrid situation, but United moved quickly and got it done. And it looks bad for us. There's no dressing it up. There's no trying to make it sound better. It looks really poor on our part. So, TOTT Trent fan. You're a United fan. You've come in. I've no problem with you with your Glory United post or your banter. But you're going a bit far now, dude. So I'm going to put you in timeout. Again, no problem with opposition fans coming in. You're very welcome to banter us, wind us up and have a bit of fun with us. But just let's keep it non-abusive. So apparently PSG are getting Neves for 70 million. Well, Ryan, last night, mate, we did report this in the video this morning, actually, I think it was. That yes, PSG are closing in on signing João Neves, and for a lot less than the 120 million euro that was in the release clause. The player apparently wanted to move. So what we can say is that is another player off the list for Liverpool. I want to just read you out something because it boiled my blood when I seen this. It was on the Echo, who by the way have banned my account on there merely for asking why they're so supportive of the owners. But there you go, disabled my account and banned my comment. This is from the Echo. Just a reminder that the Echo understands that Liverpool do not hold an active interest in bringing Mark Guehi to Anfield. The Crystal Palace defender has been linked with a number of clubs this summer, but Liverpool are not considering a move for him. All that's fine, but this next line is the one that boils my blood. Centre-back is not a priority area of reinforcement for the club this window, despite the exit of Joel Matip at the end of last season. I'm sorry, but that's absolute nonsense. We've already seen James Pearce and others say that Liverpool want to sign a centre-back, a midfielder and a forward. The Echo are a disgrace. I don't know who reads and believes this crap. How can they say we don't need a centre-back when all of last season we were short at centre-back? Now that we have an opportunity to strengthen it, all of a sudden we're being told that it's not a priority? Well, let's look at the situation, shall we? We have Virgil van Dijk, currently in the last year of his contract, 33 years of age, world class. We have Jarell Quansah, young centre-back, plenty of time for there, no problems with that. And we've got Ibrahima Konate. On top of that, you've got Joe Gomez, who's more utilised as a fullback, and Sepp van den Berg, who wants out of the football club. In what world do we not need at least one centre-back? I don't know who comes up with this nonsense at the Echo and who writes it, who edits it. It is absolutely pie-in-the-sky stuff, and it is just, again, echoing, parroting the club without challenging them. It's embarrassing. Who do they represent? Do they represent their readers? Or do they just want to brown-nose the club a little bit more to make sure they get that once every 3-year interview with John W. Henry? I don't get it. I'm getting fed up of it. I'm getting fed up of people not calling these owners out for being cheap. How many times do we have to be embarrassed? Bellingham, we were in that conversation till we weren't. Tchouaméni, in that conversation till we weren't. And with him, I understand. Mbappe, never really going to be in that one, were we? But Yoro, we were assured that should anything change with Real Madrid, Liverpool were ready to pounce. Liverpool were ready to match the offer of Manchester United. Except we didn't, and we weren't. And now we're being told we don't need a centre-back? Come on now. This is honestly ridiculous. Arne Slot is kind of getting screwed, said Yannick, not going to lie. He's getting 0 players that he wants to fit his style of play. So look, the next thing that you're going to hear from people, my man, is going to be that there's plenty of time left in the window. That Liverpool don't panic. That Liverpool are looking for the August transfers. The season's a month away. Never mind when the window ends. We start playing competitive football in a month. And Arne Slot has no signings. In fact, we've gone backwards. Remember all the time that we were told that we were £18.7 million up on wages? Well, seems like they're afraid to spend any of that money. What are we doing? Who are we after? And what on earth is happening at the football club? It isn't good enough. It isn't acceptable. And you shouldn't have to accept it. Any United fans coming in, look, congrats. Good signing for you guys. You gazumped us on this one. You got one over us. No problem admitting that. I'll call it as I see it. It's embarrassing for us. We are a club that are in the Champions League. A club that finished 3rd last year in the Premier League. And we're supposed to believe that once again, we didn't want to spend the money. Because that's what's been put out here. I'm going to read you out something from Ian Doyle of the Echo. Liverpool didn't think they could justify making an 18-year-old the second most expensive defender in their history, given the personnel already at their disposal. That is embarrassing from Ian Doyle and the Echo again. So, we don't want to spend money on somebody who could be a solution at centre-back for the next 12 years, when we know that Virgil has 1 year left on his deal? What are we at? How are we supposed to read that with a straight face? Because of the personnel already at our disposal. Let that sink in. What personnel? The two young centre-backs and the ageing centre-back, and then nobody? It's mental. Arsenal getting Calafiori. United probably delay and already signed Leny Yoro, or about to sign Leny Yoro. Meanwhile, we're being lied to again. We're being bait and switched again. I will remind you of FSG's own wording. They want to under-promise and over-deliver. They've delivered nothing except misery. Could be not proven. No, he isn't proven. That's fair. But he's a generational talent. That is undoubtedly going to be a success. It might not be this year. It might take a year. He might take time to settle into United in the Premier League. Same as anybody else. But we're not going to sit here with a straight face and say PSG, Liverpool, Man United, Real Madrid and all these other clubs wanted this kid, and now that we don't get him, all of a sudden we're back to making excuses for the owners. Come on guys, we're better than that. Be honest with yourself. Don't try and make everybody feel better. Be honest. It's a shit show. And not only are we not interested in the generational talent 18-year-old, according to the Echo and their journalists, we don't even need a centre-back. Everything's brilliant. It's embarrassing now, getting really worried about the season ahead, getting left behind, said Alex Macklin. Well, there are a couple of positive things today, and I want to touch on a few of them. So Liverpool have announced today that Johnny Heidinger has joined as a first-team coach with Arne Slot as part of the backroom staff. Good. Happy news. Great to see that being filled out. And yeah, good. That's good news. Happy days. But he can't play for us. If Virgil van Dijk picked up an injury, heaven forbid, at any point in the season, what are we going to do? Because remember, yesterday we spoke and we said Virgil doesn't have a competitor for left centre-back, sorry. He doesn't have one. So now again we're, what? Leaving ourselves open to hoping and praying that we don't pick up an injury? Ricky, how are you, mate? Thank you for your super chat. So Ricky Keeley, how are you, my man? Said, Craig, as a United fan, I'm delighted. But Yoro will be like Ronaldo. He'll go to Real Madrid after a contract at 23. We won't have him for 12 years. That's absolutely possible, Ricky. And I respect where you're coming from on it, mate. Could well happen. But I'm going to take you back to a video, Ricky, that we made a few days ago. Five transfers that almost happened for Liverpool but didn't. And one of them, mate, is the very gentleman you've just spoken about, Cristiano Ronaldo. Liverpool didn't sign him because they didn't want to give him £1 million signing on bonus, and didn't think that he was worth the transfer fee. And then Phil Thompson said a few weeks later he sees that he signs for Manchester United, and the rest, as they say, mate, is history. Every time we're linked and told that we can sign these generational talents, nothing happens of it, and we'll end up with an opportunistic, which is another word for cheap, option. And some of our fans are just okay with it. I don't get it. I don't get why. Look, I'm not going in on the manager here. I'm not going in on Richard Hughes here. I'm going in on the owners, because the buck stops with them. Everybody else can just do what they can do. You can only spend what you're allowed to spend. You can only do what you can do. The owners are making this a conscious decision not to back the manager, not to actually have Liverpool challenging for success. It's an embarrassment, and I don't see how people can still make excuses for them. Canade isn't the young centre-back, he's 25. No, he isn't. Canade's 22, 23? Maybe I'm wrong, but he's certainly 22, 23 and not 25. He was playing for the 21s a year ago, I think, with France. So you might want to recheck on that one. He's definitely younger than 25. But either way, 25 is still relatively young for a centre-back. Is he 25? My apologies, sir. My apologies to you. I thought that he was only 23. Either way, my apologies. I was incorrect. I stand corrected. No problem on that one. So we've got Canade. Fair enough. Canade's injury prone, as we've seen. And his form has been a little bit sketchy. Now, I think Ibu will come good. I really like Ibu, and he could be a future leader of a defence. Absolutely. But even at that, so you've got Ibrahim Canade, who's 25. You've got Kwanzaa, who's, 22? Then you've got Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, who's been utilised more as a fullback. Again, I think my point still is we don't have a solution there if Virgil needs competition. We don't have a solution if we pick up an injury. Elijah said, I don't fancy Yoro for 50 million, but Liverpool still need to buy players. I can understand that, mate. Look, opinions are just that, opinions, and you're absolutely entitled to yours. My point is the lies. Because let's just cast our minds back a little bit. Were we or were we not told by pretty much every publication, English or otherwise, that Liverpool were going to move for Yoro if Real Madrid don't? Were we or were we not told that? And we were told that because the club brief these things. Journalists don't just make it up, well, at least not the credible ones. So we were told this. Real Madrid haven't signed the kid. We were told 2 or 3 days ago that Liverpool would happily match United's offer if he showed any indication that he wasn't going to Madrid. Were we or were we not? And yet today, what happened? He goes to Manchester United and we're nowhere to be mentioned. And some of these same publications are saying that we don't need a centre-back. Like, talk about, I'm supposed to be the one that's embarrassing. I'm supposed to be the one that gets called the loudmouth and the liar. I have all of these notes made from the last month of all of the times we've been linked and told the same thing. And yet here we are. When it comes time to actually get something done, the excuses come out. Our surprise signings tend to come in January. Gakpo, Suarez, Sturridge, VVD, Coutinho. We don't have to wait. We can't wait till January, mate. We can't. We need to do some business now. Right, Ben. FSG in, FSG out. Let's get a poll. If you'd be so kind, mate. Right now, how are you feeling about the owners? FSG in or FSG out? Because this will give us a good indication of how frustrated or not people are feeling. Ethan Bro said, Anfield Agenda, we need signings now. Patience is gone. Really wanted Yoro. I never really expected us to sign Yoro, but nor did I expect Manchester United to sign Yoro. I thought he was nailed on to go to Madrid. Now, Madrid have made their stance pretty clear, and they've decided not to pursue it. So, after that, it is just an embarrassment that we just again petered off. As soon as it becomes a competition for a player, Liverpool don't seem to have the stomach to push ahead with it. Brian, thank you, mate, for your membership with us for 2 months. Craig, keep up your amazing work. Thank you. I just want to remind you guys as well, I dropped a new podcast episode today. It was a bit of a last minute decision, to be honest. Usually we do it on a Monday with Jack. It comes out on a Tuesday. Today, with the Yoro stuff, with the Trent stuff, I felt like I just had some stuff to get off my chest. You'd be quite proud of me, though. And 2 episodes into the new Anfield Agenda podcast, and I haven't sworn once in either episode. So if you do get a chance, please do check it out. Don't forget to leave us a review and a rating as well on your podcast app. So let's see. Let's leave the poll run in the background for a little bit, and then we'll come back to it and see how everybody's feeling. Do you think if Clough was here, we'd make a signing? No, I can't put this down to the manager, mate. You know, this is down to the owners. The manager, we knew with Arne Slot that his input to signings was going to be limited. We knew that straight away. So, you know, I try to be as honest and truthful as I can around these things. But who is doing business? Who are we looking at? And what are we waiting for, most importantly? So, João Neves, off to PSG by the looks of it. Yoro, off to United. We're kind of running out of at least names that we've seen linked or we can think of. And every day that goes by is another day closer to the lads jetting off to America. Another day closer to the Premier League campaign kicking off against Ipswich at Portman Road in a month. And we've done nothing. Every summer we're treated like we're kids. Yes, Panache. Thank you for saying that, mate. You're right. Every summer we're spoken down to. Every summer we're told if we dare show any ambition that we're spoiled, that we want... What do you want? Oil baron owners? No, we don't. We just want air owners to pull their weight. We want air owners to actually show up and give a damn. Even the decision to negotiate for Bordeaux has ended. Now look, I'm not saying they haven't made the right decision there, but they're no longer negotiating to buy Bordeaux. They've walked away from that as well. Does it scare you that all the other clubs are making deals and we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs? Of course. Of course it does, for a couple of reasons. For the obvious one, the more time our manager can get on the training ground with players, the better. So that's reason number one why I'd be concerned. Number two is, we know we're playing catch up. We finished behind Arsenal and Manchester City last year. We know that Manchester United had a bad year and they're going to come back stronger. Spurs have done business. Arsenal are doing business. Manchester City are going to do business. They've already signed that Savinho guy from Girona. So yes, of course I'm concerned. I promise you right now, as I sit here talking to you good people, I'm trying my best to be measured, not to shout, not to lose my mind, but I am fuming. And I'm fuming at those who don't challenge the owners again. And I'm not talking about fans. I believe most fans are kind of annoyed right now. But it's these arse-lickers, these apologists that just parrot the club's views out of fear and yet claim to represent the people that read their publications or listen to their publications. We all know they want jam on both sides of their bread. Can't happen. You have to pick a side. You have to stand up and speak for somebody. Stand for something. Villa signed Onana from Everton, and they're looking at Rafinha, possibly as well. I seen that pop up earlier on. One of the guys in my Discord group's a lovely guy, an Aston Villa fan. So we often talk about what's going on at Villa as well. They're doing business. Another thing that just came in actually just as I was going live was on Nico Williams. So Fabrizio Romano has said negotiations between Barcelona and Nico Williams' agent are ongoing as planned. Hansi Flick wants him. Deco on the board also. Timing is crucial as Barca try to anticipate Premier League clubs. It's been spelled out there very clearly. Barca are trying to get something done. They're trying to get a deal for Nico Williams done, but it isn't done yet. So why aren't we making a play there? Why aren't we trying to sign Nico Williams? Because we've already been told we need a forward. And I don't know about you guys, but a €45 million release clause, albeit with high wages, and I do acknowledge the wages that he's asking for, why aren't we all over that? Salah, at the best case scenario, has a year to go. So we can look to the future. We can challenge Mo this season. We can hopefully get the best out of him by increasing the competition. With a youngster who's just won the Euros and shown that he's ready and on the big stage. And again, we're just sitting around twiddling our thumbs for what? What are we waiting for? I don't buy into the everybody hasn't settled into their roles crap yet. I don't buy into the manager hasn't assessed the squad yet. Because the manager won't be able to assess the squad fully. Just can't happen. He will only have everybody back 1 week before the season gets underway. Then he'll be doing his assessing of the full squad. So again, what are we waiting for? We saved Thiago, Matip and Adrian's wages, said Jonesy lad. Absolutely, mate. And they boasted about it, remember? Media were briefed and we've seen all the articles. Liverpool's £18.7 million solution. But again, we don't want to spend it. So we haven't renewed Trent, who's now flirting with Real Madrid. And remember, Madrid now don't have to focus on Leny Yoro. So if they want Trent, well, they can step up that chase now. So that's one that we're concerned about. 25 years of age, vice captain, in the prime of his career, could lose him for nothing or next to nothing. Virgil and Salah, again, the club has shown no intent there to do anything about their contracts. Matip, Thiago, Adrian already gone. Situation developing about our goalkeepers. We've already seen the new Irish national team manager basically tell Kelleher he should move to get more game time. The club are seemingly allowing all the negative PR. And I know that Michael Edwards doesn't like to be public, and I know that the club don't like to respond to these things, but surely they can see that the majority of the fan base is concerned, and with good reason at this point. Last summer, we made signings, we did some decent business, and we got back into the Champions League. And the coach is saying he wants to beat the 82 points total. Great. I hope he does. But he's not going to do it with the players that we currently have, because we've already seen a lot of them will pick up injuries and strains. And this is going to be another long season after not much of a break for these guys. Look at the workload these footballers have gone through over the last season. And then tell me that we're not going to pick up injuries this year. Last season, second most amount of injuries. Liverpool Football Club. So what's going to change there? These same players that pick up these muscle strains and knocks, your Canades, it's not going to go away. Canade seems to be, unfortunately, somebody who's going to have this trouble throughout his career. We can't look at the likes of Stefan Bajcetic and put all of our hopes on him being the solution. He's been a whole season out with injury, and as good as he is and as much as we all back him, he needs time to develop and to get back up to speed at his own pace. I don't know. Graham Jackson, how are you, my friend? And thank you for your super chat. Graham said, I want FSG out, but the big problem is that it will take up to 5 billion. Only rich Arabs can afford that, and they could ruin our identity. So, for me, Graham, I'd like a different solution. I don't mind the owners outside of this. I've spoken about the Super League and I discussed it that, but that's happened, it's been, it's done, we can't change that. But our owners have the ability, mate, to spend money. It's not like they can't access the transfer funds. They've made a conscious decision not to do it. So, I don't really want other owners in as well. And you're right, Graham, you've made a very good point. Those owners that might come in are going to be other investment firms or state-backed funds. And again, we do not want to lose our identity. That's fair. And that's why I'm trying to be balanced, as much as it might not seem, in this conversation. Because that's all I want from them. Just back the manager. Remember who you own. It's Liverpool Football Club. You either want to win or you don't. And you can't always tell us that you want to win by being the most clever person in the room and that you want to outwit everybody else. Because sometimes you just have to put your hand in your pocket and spend the money. Mike. How are you, Mike? And thank you for your super chat. Mike Zacharias. I am annoyed we haven't signed anyone, but not ready to give up on Edwards Hughes just yet. Stopped following transfer rumours a while ago. I feel like they just add to the frustration. Well, it's very sensible, Mike. I get where you're coming from, mate. And it is frustrating. And I, like you, do have faith in Edwards. Don't know much about Hughes yet. We're still getting to know Richard Hughes. But by all accounts, he seems like an accomplished man. And I'm looking forward to seeing Arne Slot and our style of football. But we want to attack the league, mate, with our best foot forward. So remember, I'm going to take you back to a little conversation we had when the fixtures were released. The Athletic did a very good piece linking everybody's first 5 fixtures and rating them from 1 to 20 about who was the hardest start, who was the easiest. And Liverpool have the easiest start on paper. So we have an opportunity to put our best foot forward and get 15 points at the start of the league campaign or close to it. And to do that, we want to be firing on all cylinders and be ready to go from day one. Not playing catch up, not trailing Manchester City or Arsenal or United or anybody else. We want to be leaders. And to do that, you want to start the season quickly and build that confidence. How good is Leny Yoro? Sincerely, Bradley, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've watched Leny Yoro forever. I haven't. But what I have seen and what you've seen, mate, is a queue of top clubs interested in him. And many of them saying that if Real Madrid, like us, don't make a move, they'll be there. And the only ones that actually showed up were United. And they've got it done. So this coming in from Team Talk. You're going to be surprised at this one. Aston Villa are preparing to compete with Chelsea and Barcelona for Nico Williams. He's viewed as the ideal player to replace Moussa Diaby, who is Saudi bound. No mention of us there again. No mention of us for Elise when he was going to Bayern Munich. No mention of us for anybody. Remember Coop Miners, who we spoke about being somebody that lots of articles in Italy have said Liverpool are close. Liverpool want them. Well, Gazzetta dello Sport over in Italy are saying Liverpool set for disappointment as Coop Miners has decided to join Juventus. Now, I'm okay with that. I don't think Coop Miners was the solution. I think Ederson from the same club was. But it's just another name. Another name ticked off the list. Another potential signing out the window. And another day goes by that we haven't done anything. Maraximi said, Mohamed Simikin, 40 million centre-back from Leipzig, wanting a new challenge. Yep, I agree, but we've already been told he's not on the list. Not only is he not on the list, my man, we don't need a centre-back, according to the Echo and some other journalists. 40 to 45 million euro, as you've said. Atletico Madrid, another club who are interested. Leipzig, a club we've dealt with a lot over the years. And again, I'm not saying that he is or isn't the answer, but I'm saying the denials are out there already. We should be fighting for De Ligt. He's a leader. I would respectfully disagree with you on De Ligt, but at the same time, I can totally understand why you throw the name forward. Going to leave Bayern, reasonable enough fee. I don't know his wage situation. He has had some injury concerns, but it would be better than nothing. And at the moment, nothing is what we're looking down the barrel of. Stevie Boy, thank you mate as always for your membership, said Hughes is just a puppet for Edwards. Maybe. Pacho Gordon, Liverpool transfer window, said Mo Salah 11. Calafiori deal broke down, so I'll go for him. Has it? I'm not sure if it has or hasn't, mate. I'll take you at your word on that one. I don't know. But his agent and everyone the other day was seemingly very close. I think DiMarzio was saying as well that he looked like he was Arsenal bound. But we were told we weren't interested in him. Remember? But how come United can still buy players? We always hear they're in so much debt. Ambition. So, one thing, if you take one thing away from this stream tonight, just remember this. It's a conscious choice for our owners not to spend. It isn't because of an inability to spend. It isn't because of FFP problems. It isn't because of profit and sustainability rules. It's because of one thing and one thing only. A conscious decision not to spend the money. That's it. You can't be lied to anymore about the wage bill. You can't be told that that's overbearing, because they're already bragging about the 18.7 million that they've saved there. And Salah's going to be gone in a year. The highest wages will be gone off the book. And the club are in no rush to tie down Virgil van Dijk, another high earner at the club. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, well, he's in the last year of his contract. And now Madrid don't have a Leny Yoro shaped hole in their team or in their finances. So may well return their attention to Trent. Again, Real Madrid are an opportunistic club on deals like this. They'll look at Trent's situation with Liverpool and know that if ever they do want to move from, now is the time. And how is it the time? Because once again, those who run our football club are so arrogant or stupid that they allow Trent to get to this position. And there's no excuse in that. If you ever did lose Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I don't want it to happen, it should be for an ungodly amount of money. An amount of money that everybody will just go, well, okay, but it won't be. If we lose him, it'll be for about 40 to 50 million most likely. Homegrown talent. And also, and this is the part that I really want to push, we're told we have to be clever with money. We're told that the owners want to spend what the club can afford and what it generates. Well, one way of generating money is to sell people at the right time for big sums of money. Not allow them to run their contracts down and sail off into the sunset for free. Last 12 players that have departed Liverpool, only 4 of them brought us in a transfer fee. Only 4. out of 12. Firmino off into the sunset. Salah probably going to leave for nothing. Virgil, don't know, could leave for nothing. It's just not good enough. FSG has the syndrome of some lads on a night out. Short arms and long pocket syndrome. Can't reach the wallet. It's not their fault, said Ricky Keeley. The thing that bugs me so much, Ricky, is that those of us who challenge them on it, and I think it's growing, always get told that we either don't ever go to Anfield so aren't entitled to an opinion, should be respectful that the owner saved us from administration, talk about the league titles that we've won previously, or belittle us in some other way, rather than address and look at it with an open mind and ask, well, why aren't we doing business? Why aren't we competing? Feeder said, why do you keep timing me out? I haven't timed you out once. You'll know if it's me because it'll say Anfield Agenda, but I haven't timed you out once, mate. Do you think we'll make a signing until the end of this month? I truly don't know, Sailor mate. I don't know. You know, I'd like to sit here and say to you, yes, we'll make a signing, but truly I haven't got a clue. But all I do know is the dates that are important. One of them being the start of the Premier League, which is a month away. In a month, we have to make sure Arne Slot's got the team up to speed on the coaching pitch, and we've got to get our business done. And remember, let's focus back to the January transfer window for a moment. We were told that the club were going to focus on getting Trent, Virgil and Mo's contract sorted. Mo's been back at the club. Mo's had his holidays. Nothing. Trent, you let him go off in the international tournament, hanging around with Jude Bellingham. Real Madrid in his ear. Reports coming out of Germany to say that there's already been communication between his camp and Real Madrid. Like, what have they done? For all the stuff that people say that they have to get done and catch up to speed, what have they actually done? They've brought in Johnny Hiding and they've brought in a goalkeeping coach. They've brought in a sporting director, brought Michael Edwards back, Julian Ward back. Brilliant. But what's that going to help us with on the football pitch? How's that going to help us improve on last season's points tally or to challenge to win the league? It isn't. We need to spend money if we want to keep competing at a top level. We can't rely on our scouting team. Yes, I agree. And remember, the Nike deal was groundbreaking. It was going to be Liverpool's pathway into spending big money. But we've never once heard a figure. Not once. Never once been told how much money that's brought in. We brought on Husqvarna as another commercial partner. We're always getting told that Liverpool are right at the top of all these money lists, Deloitte football money lists, all these other things, until it comes time to actually spending it, and then we cry poor mouth. We are, as our friend said a minute ago, like that lad on the night out who gets locked, has a great night, gets a takeaway on the way home, and has somehow not spent a penny because everybody else has looked after him. They are absolute spoofers, these owners. They don't give a shite about the football club, about you, about me, about winning. They don't care. They care about the value of their asset increasing. That is it. And they're over the other side of the Atlantic, way away from the fume. They don't have to go into work or college or school and banter with their mates and listen to us being ridiculed and listen to us being lied to. They don't have to do that. All he has to do is keep knowing that the value of his club is going up and up and up. And he sits over there having Red Sox fans angry at him, Pittsburgh fans angry at him, Liverpool fans angry at him, doesn't give a shite. Spurs are very interested in Chiesa, said Ali Nous. And they will sign him, and he doesn't sleep like us, and they don't sleep like us. What are we waiting for? So, of all the other things, like we were told opportunistic, right? That's an opportunistic one, surely. Federico Chiesa, 25 years of age, 1 year to go on his Juventus deal, 20 million price tag. Again, what are we doing? It can't always be that every player we want is either unavailable or on his holidays. There's always an excuse. Shows up once a year for in a final. Yes, as well as Isaac shows up once a year as well in London for something. I don't get it. So here's the thing, right? We're all Liverpool fans. All of us, well, apart from obviously our friends from other clubs who are in with us, we're all Liverpool fans. All of us. Every single one of us. John W. Henry doesn't give a shit. He isn't a Liverpool fan. Remember one thing. They're only custodians of the football club. That is it. You and I and everybody else will outlast them. We are the ones who make the club what it is. The people who go onto the cop. The people whose pictures are shared all around the world, marketed and used to make money. We're the people that matter. The coaches, the players, the fans. The owners only have the privilege of being custodians of this club. And they've tried to destroy it already. They've tried to destroy it by signing us up to a Super League nobody wanted, that nobody was consulted over. They've furloughed staff. They've tried to copyright Liverpool from a football context. They have constantly stuck two fingers up to us. And yet still, we get people telling us we were saved. We get people telling us how grateful we should be that we aren't bankrupt. That's the standard, is it? That's where we're at. That's our ambition, is just not to be bankrupt. And I'm supposed to be grateful for that. A football club, the most successful in the history of English football, and we're being treated like a mid-tier championship team. And I'm supposed to be happy and grateful. Meanwhile, also, but Craig, they built the Leny Road end. Craig, they increased it. They did. $6,500 for a season ticket. For the Carlsberg hospitality dugout type tickets. Between $5,500 and $6,500 a season. But they built it. No, they didn't. You built it. Your money built it. They fronted it, but it's you that's going to pay for it. GS Willa 99 said, Craig, let's be honest, every year it's the same story with us in transfers. Yep. And every year we're sold the vision for the future. That next window, it's coming like clockwork. Towards the end of this window, all the apologists will be out going, Liverpool have huge plans for next summer's window. Oh, you won't believe it. Liverpool are going to reinvent football transfers next summer. Until something happens. They got away with the COVID stuff for a while as well. That was their... Liverpool are absorbing all the losses from COVID. Remember when they sold 11%? That was to cover the COVID losses. But yet we're still being told about that. They want their cake and they want to eat it. As I said earlier on, they want jam on both sides of their bread. And some people just drink the Kool-Aid. Craig, to be honest, I get what we're doing. We have Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Kanade and Arne Slot. Said he likes Van den Berg. Have you not been paying attention to the Van den Berg stuff, mate? He wants out. PSV Eindhoven have already made a club record offer. He wants out. And Liverpool are waiting to see if we get the deal done. Virgil van Dijk has 11 months to go in his contract. And the club aren't, at this stage, offering him a new one. Kanade... Let's remember how Kanade finished last season, dropped, and before that injured. And Kwanzaa, a very good young centre-back. No point to raise on him. Looking forward to seeing how he develops. But that's where we're at. Most top clubs should have at least 5 centre-backs. We're going into the season with 3 and Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, utilised more as a fullback. Virgil van Dijk at the tail end of his career. And Ibrahim Kanade, dodgy form and some injuries. And we think that that's going to get us through the season. A season, with more games than any other season. Champions League games are up to 8. Players with shorter turnarounds after international tournaments. And we don't know yet if Darwin's going to get a ban either. So let's not forget about that. Chris said, Trent decision needed ASAP also. I agree. I still don't for 1 second understand how this situation's happened. I'm genuinely astonished. Like, yeah, I'm astonished that we're in this situation with Trent. Another player we've been linked to, excuse me, is Yilmaz. Do you remember we were linked to him? Well, Galatasaray president has said that Yilmaz is not for sale. He said, Barış Alper Yilmaz is not for sale. There are offers for many players, including Barış. We reject some without thinking. Barış is one of them. Barış is not for sale. So that's another one that we can throw in the dust heap of Liverpool links. One bit of good news around Liverpool's quota of homegrown and non-homegrown is we do have some non-homegrown spots. In fact, we have 3. The Echo wrote a decent piece on this, and again, I credit the Echo when they do something good as well. As things stand, the Reds can sign up to 3 overseas players this summer without the need for moving on any of their current quota. But if they wish to take full advantage of such spaces, rather than selecting additional homegrown players, as previously mentioned, some of the aforementioned academy graduates will need to be left out or moved on. Liverpool currently boasts 28 senior players who don't qualify as under 21s, further establishing that players will be left out if not moved on. So there we go. 3 homegrown, non-homegrown spaces available. 3! Nothing. Any news on Simicon or Guehi? All we've seen, my friend, on both of those are denials. Denials that Liverpool are interested and denials that Liverpool even need a centre-back. Ian Doyle came back, I think he was off on holidays, and came back yesterday and within the space of an hour was denying everything. Liverpool aren't in for Simicon as things stand. Liverpool don't need a centre-back as things stand. Liverpool aren't interested in Mark Guehi as things stand. I don't get it. Await Somerville and to be grateful, said Jonesy lad, FSG out. We were already told we weren't interested in him as well, which is another mad one. Let's have a look at the poll. We asked you guys, and we've had over 2,000 votes. FSG in, FSG out. And so far, 66% say FSG out, 34% say FSG in, and I have to believe that at least some of that 34% is opposition fans on a wind-up. Have we not looked at Hincapié? George, one thing to remember, mate, is the comment I read out earlier on. Centre-back is not a priority area of reinforcement for the club this window, despite the exit of Joel Matip. That's the briefing. Have FSG ever sold any of the clubs? Don't recall them selling anything. I don't believe they have that I'm aware of. And they've even said that they're in expansion mode. And I think it was John W. Henry who said, well, look at us. Have we sold any of our assets? They're in expansion mode. They're looking to add to it. And look, there's other worrying problems with that. As they expand and they've invested into golf, they've invested into the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're looking to buy another football club. So FSG's brain trust will, of course, end up being watered down as well, because they can only be spread so thin. So there's lots of stuff to be concerned about. Most importantly, the fact that us, the crown jewel in their collection of sports clubs, are just sitting over here treading water. Carson said, signing a centre-back would make sense, Craig. That's why we won't sign one. Again, I'm going to go back to yesterday's notes. Let me just scroll up here, and I'm going to read out something that came from a really lovely man, a great journalist, and James Pearce, and somebody who I don't always agree with, but somebody who I have nothing but respect for. And James Pearce said yesterday, let me just get my notes. Sorry, I'm scrolling through all of my stuff here to get James Pearce's quote from yesterday. So, he said... No, that wasn't James Pearce, sorry. He said Liverpool have had conversations about signing a fullback, a centre-back, a midfielder and a forward in this window. I don't have the quote in front of me, but that's pretty much to a word what he said. So, have we any Bostonians in the chat? Just as a matter of interest. Because I'd love to hear from some Bostonians who have an opinion on FSG. Maybe from a Red Sox perspective, but at least from an ownership perspective. Thabo Peterson, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Thank you. Look, folks, as you can see in the top left-hand corner, we are closing in on the next 100. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. We really appreciate your support on the channel. It means a lot to us, particularly on days like today where we're all feeling a little bit, let's shall we say, frustrated. I chose in, said Mac Kelly, only because I'm a fan of so many clubs with bad ownership that have seen change bring nothing. And to be honest, I don't know who would come in to replace them. Oil barons, no thanks. I'm with you on that, mate. Truly I am. I don't want state ownership. I don't want oil barons. But I do want owners who actually want to win. And I don't believe that we don't have the ability to spend the money. And again, sometimes the devil you know is better. And if FSG were a bit more willing to spend, not put us into, financial difficulty, but we're just willing to go and compete to win European Cups. I mean, let's look at what we're up against here. We're up against Real Madrid, who've just added in Kylian Mbappe after bringing in Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo. They're the standard bearers for the Champions League. On top of that, we've got Manchester City, and we all know their situation. We've got Arsenal, who brought in Declan Rice and are now going in to try and push on to make sure they can make that last leap to win a league title. You've got Aston Villa, who have qualified for the Champions League, become more attractive, of course, to potential signings, have a great manager in Unai Emery, and they're going to push on. You've got Manchester United, who've stuck with their gaffer, made some signings, put some Dan Ashcroft or whatever his name is, at the back of the club as well, and they're looking to build. Spurs have gone about their business, signing an actual generational talent when they brought in Archie Gray from Leeds. Chelsea are going about signing up players as always. And what have we done? Argue with each other and feel frustrated and watch on as nothing happens. Are FSG interested in a dodgy three-wheeler van? Yeah, probably. With what was it that you used to put in the window of the van and Only Fools and Horses? Midwife on call, I think was the sticker or the little badge that used to be on the front of it. It's not Richard Ashcroft. He's the guy from The Verve. It's Dan Ashford or Croft or something like that. David Brown there said Trent's gone. I'm concerned about it, David. In all honesty, mate, I am very, very concerned about it. And I've been calling this for ages. I've been calling the Trent situation for a really long time. And saying, how have we let it get to this? I don't understand it, mate. What else we got? Seeing the FC25 post that FC posted. There's a poster of Trent and underneath Liverpool have put a caption of for the club. Is this a sign? I don't know. Haven't got a clue. But, you know what would be a lovely sign? Him putting his name in a new contract. That would be a lovely sign. And look, the best case scenario with Trent now, and I mean this sincerely, is we're going to overpay. That's the best case scenario. Because there's no way that he's not, and his agent are looking on now and not going, Madrid want us? Time to leverage this. Liverpool are getting desperate. Time to leverage this. Now, one indication of what might happen with Trent could happen with Frimpong. If Liverpool do make a move for Frimpong, and again, I can only take what I've heard from other journalists. David Lynch, when I spoke to him, didn't believe there was much to Liverpool and Frimpong. Hadn't really seen much about it. Seemed very sincere when he said it to me. So let's wait and see what happens there. Because if we see any indication we're moving for Frimpong, which I think has 4 or 5 days left on his release clause for this year to be activated. Jonesy lad said, to be honest, I wouldn't blame Trent. Nor would I. Nor would I at all. I'd love him to stay. I want him to stay. But like I've said before, I have to be realistic and ask, is there a chance he goes? Well, yes, for a few reasons. One, Klopp leaving. That would have obviously been a big change. Two, he's already won one of everything at Liverpool, sometimes a bit more, at least in the Klopp era. He's won a league, an FA Cup, 2 League Cups, Champions League, Super Cup, Club World Cup. So he's done that. He won't have regrets about not winning a league title at Liverpool. He's done it. And again, it's Real Madrid that have come in. And an opportunistic situation for Madrid again. Jules Verne said Liverpool will not buy until during after pre-season. Too many variables with Slot, Trent and Virgil. So, after pre-season, so when are we going to buy then? After the league started? Because there's only a week between our last pre-season game and the Premier League kicking off. There's only a month from now until the Premier League kick off. So, again, to try to be fair about this, wanting to give your manager the best opportunity to win would involve giving him the personnel as early as possible, allowing him to work with them, integrate them, because we're already going to have the likes of Trent, Joe Gomez, Virgil, Gakpo, Gravenberch, McAllister, Darwin, and probably a couple more that I'm missing, Canade, all coming back very late because of how far their teams progressed in the Euros or in the Copa America. All need at least 3 weeks holiday before they join up with the rest of the team. So again, even the regulars, the established players, are going to be very late back. Losing out on Neves will be a bigger deal to me than losing out on Yoro, Williams and co. So, look, for me right now, I would love to see Liverpool attack the Nico Williams situation and get it done. João Neves, I've always been a little bit dubious to see whether we'd spend the money. And the vibes coming out of Benfica was always, it's release clause or nothing. But as you've rightly said, mate, it looks like PSG are coming in there trying to get him at a knockdown price. The player apparently is open to the move there. And apparently there's an agreement on wages between him, his representative from PSG. And PSG, of course, have a lot of wiggle room now because they've moved Mbappe on. So, I don't know what happens there. But we're not the front runner for either of those two. We posted this earlier on. Fabrizio Romano said the Barcelona and Nico Williams' agent talks are ongoing as planned. Hansi Flick wants him. Deco on the board also. Timing is crucial as Barca tried to anticipate moves from Premier League clubs. Then not 2 minutes later, a post comes out from Transfer News that quotes team talk that say Villa are preparing to compete with Chelsea and Barcelona for Nico Williams. He's viewed as the ideal replacement for Moussa Diaby, who is off to Saudi. So I don't know what the I Cut My Farts super chat said, but it was deleted by Colin, so I've got no idea what that said. Yeah, I've got no idea. I can't read it out, mate, because I can't see it. Yeah, sorry, man. No idea. Thank you for your super chat. Oh, just donating. I hope you enjoy your stream. I'm an Ajax diehard myself. Hope Slot will do well for you guys. He's truly impressed. I don't know why his comment was deleted, Colin. I've no idea. But, like, be a bit more careful, lads, please and thank you. This one said, Craig, makes you wonder how much faith FSG has in Slot as temporary coach. Almost seems like they don't want to commit. By the way, Williams to Barca is done. So, on that one, it wasn't a comment. You deleted him doing this, saluting. I don't know why you think that needs to be deleted, mate. There's nothing wrong about somebody putting up a saluting thing. But anyway, where was I going? So I don't buy into this theory that some people like Glenn Johnson have come out with Jules. Great username, by the way, Jules Verne. I don't buy into this allow us to kind of have a scapegoat or a temporary manager. We shouldn't be willing to just accept that maybe Arne Slot won't work out, because I like him and I want him to succeed. And he took a lot of time to make sure he found the right club to move to the Premier League. He turned down Spurs, he turned down, I think, Leeds, was looked at by Chelsea, and then chose Liverpool. So I feel like we certainly owe it to him to repay his faith in us by making sure that we show him all the support that we can. And I don't want an automatic failure after Jurgen. I've always understood, of course, that Jurgen's a huge personality to leave. And we've been blessed to have that man for 9 years. And he delivered us some incredible seasons and some great moments, some great titles. But we shouldn't just assume that the next coach in has to shit the bed. Endo to centre-back said Ernesto, this is what we'll get. Nut said, I'm a United supporter and it sounds like FSG is starting to behave like the Glazers. Don't wish that upon anybody. None of us deserve crap owners. So look, I know I go hard on the owners. I know I do. And I know some people would rather I didn't. And some people would rather I was a bit more positive. But there's only so many times you can give someone the benefit of the doubt before you have to start realising that, in my opinion, they just don't want to win. They want Champions League because they want the money. They want the television revenue and they want the value of their asset to continue to grow. But one thing that we do know, as has been shown over time, is that FSG don't like bad publicity. They don't. They don't like it. So we have to speak up. We have to ask them to do the right thing, to make us competitive, or to admit that they've no intention of doing it and maybe look to find a way out. Because we deserve better than this. It's the image of Liverpool fans that gets sold around the world to make this club money. Whether it's on posters, whether it's videos, songs, whatever. It's the cop, it's the fans, it's the history, it's the tradition. And all of that was built off winning. Without winning, without Crazy Horse or Phil Thompson or Graham Souness or any of these others, Kenny Dalglish, without them winning those European Cups, lifting that trophy, Shankly, Paisley, Fagan, without all of that, this club is just another club. So you can't live off the past. You have to create new memories, new heroes, new icons. And we did as best we could with Jurgen, but I will always feel like they left trophies on the table there. And you and I will never know exactly why Jurgen left. We take him at face value because he deserves that respect, that he was tired, that he couldn't give his best to the job, and I understand, appreciate that. But let's be honest, we also feel there was probably, deep down, despite what he said, some irking at the PGMOL, the owners, and probably the British media to some extent as well. Shabba Style said, most people are just happy to take it, just don't understand its strange mentality. Look, I like to think that I'm a fairly intelligent fella. My life would be so much easier if I towed the company line, if I was very complimentary, always to the club and to everything about it. I would probably be invited to stuff, to charity games, to Jurgen Klopp's farewell, to interview the manager. My life would probably be infinitely better. I'd probably make more money. I'd probably have a better future. But you know what I wouldn't be able to do? I wouldn't be able to look in the mirror or look my children in the eye and tell them to follow their truths and speak up and be honest and challenge and question. And it's our job to do that. It's my job with this platform that you have graciously built up and given me to speak on behalf of what I believe truly is wrong. And what I believe is wrong is the owners. Not on every footing, not at all. But on this, on success, on wanting to win. I truly believe they're letting us down. And I'm not going to stop. I will continue to speak up because it's important to me. I want more success. I want another league title. I don't want to be 30 years waiting to see another Premier League trophy lifted. I don't want Arne Slot to be sacked in a year's time, scapegoated, and easy out for the owners because they didn't have the stomach for the fight. I don't want you to be angry. I don't want you to be frustrated with your mates, with your friends in school and college. So I'm going to keep doing what I do. Despite the mocking, the ridicule, the blacklisting, the undermining, I'm going to keep doing it. Because everything I say, I mean. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not trying to tell you I've always got the best opinion. It's always the correct one. But I say it because I care And this football club means a lot to me, despite the 2 fingers that we've been stuck up at, despite being blacklisted, despite being silenced. We're still here, we're still growing, and there has to be a reason for that. Because people understand and relate to what we're saying. We're not greedy, we're not idiots, we're not looking for Mbappes. We just want what other clubs are doing. We want to be competitive, and we deserve that. Every season, your jerseys are getting more expensive. Every season, your TV packages are getting more expensive. Trips to go watch the club, if you're lucky enough to be able to get one, are more expensive. They don't want us buying fake merchandise, but yet they're putting the Nike shirts up to £100 a pop over here. Something has to give. And they can't always be right. And they can't always be given the benefit of the doubt. They need to be held to account. You do it with your politicians. You do it with anybody else. Why not do it with these owners? I know you got banned from commenting, mate. And I've already called out the moderators on that because I don't understand why it happened. So I'm going to go back and unban your account. I just have to scroll back up to find it, mate. Because you shouldn't have been banned. And thank you for your super chats, and I sincerely apologise. Yeah, you're not banned. You were removed comments, but you're definitely not banned. I've checked there and you're not banned. $159 for the shirt in Australia. In a cost of living crisis, mate. And do you know what got me about it? When people complained about the shirt prices, the club put out a briefing to say that it wasn't the club's decision to raise the prices. It was down to Nike. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. They're your shirts. It's your club. If you're not happy with Nike, then speak out about it. MLS jerseys are $180 US. No, they're not. I'm sorry, mate. That's an exaggeration. I've bought them. Maybe the player versions with all the bells and whistles, but you can get MLS jerseys a lot cheaper than that. You can go onto Adidas right now and buy MLS jerseys for cheaper than that. So, again, if we're going to have these conversations, it's important that we're truthful. Sam Lewis, how are you, Sam? So we need to catch up to Madrid by buying big names, or else they'll win the Champions League every season. And that looks like, unfortunately, what's about to happen. And imagine if we have to look on now and see Trent there as well. Ash said, happy to pay the share prices, but when the club aren't spending that money on transfers, then it's a big no for me. I'm not going to line their pockets further. It's shocking, mate. It is shocking. As I said, look at the new Annie Road end. So we were told about, the season ticket waiting list and how many people will come off that. Fair enough. That's always good to see. You want to see the season ticket waiting list go down. You want those people that have been waiting a long time to get access in. But I remember when they released the Carlsberg dugouts for the main stand. And the reason I remember it is I was going to buy one at the time. I was working in a factory, in a supplements warehouse factory. And myself and my boss at the time, both Liverpool fans, and we were considering buying them. And I think it was about 2,800 to $3,500 a year. And you had to have a 2-year commitment to buy them. And I decided at the time it was just a little bit too rich for me. I hadn't got that much free money at the time, so I opted against. So then I revisited when the Annie Road was done. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm in a better financial position now. Maybe I can afford a couple of season tickets. Maybe I could buy them. We could give them away every so often to viewers. We could go to a few games, give some to charity. And I looked into the cost of it. And it ranged between £5,500 and £6,500 sterling plus VAT. That is insane. For what exactly? A bit of free street food? And a programme? It's just greed. Nice to know my £80 shirt ended up buying 3 this season went towards a lovely new yacht for John. So people often ask me in the last few years why I'm not wearing Liverpool stuff. Some people have even said I'm not a Liverpool fan. How could he be? He's not wearing Liverpool stuff. I made a conscious decision not to buy it because it's just ridiculously expensive. Anyway, look, more football news to go through. Johnny Heidinga. We did get some positive news around the club today, and that is that Johnny Heidinga has been appointed to Liverpool's backroom staff as the position of assistant coach. 40-year-old becomes the latest addition to Arne Slot's staff ahead of the start of the 2024-25 Premier League season. And sincerely, I'm happy about that. I'm glad that Arne Slot's starting to assemble his full coaching team and getting the people in that he needs to make him as good a coach as possible. And Johnny Heidinga, by all accounts, even though he's a former Everton player, he does look like he's a good coach and good news. And look, I'm happy for that. Genuinely, I am. But he's not going to be able to really do it on the pitch for us, is he? What's this that have been sent? So, just been sent this across that says João Neves is edging closer to a move to Paris Saint-Germain. Advanced talks with Benfica are ongoing, and an agreement could be reached for about 70 million euro. So about 60 million pound. So the 19-year-old talent that Diogo Jota sang the praises of, at a club that obviously Pedro Marquez would know well, has joined us from Benfica in the backroom staff, and we've not even been at the conversation for him. So, who are we going for? Wasn't Vifer. Isn't João Neves. Not João Neves at 120 million euro. João Neves at 70 million euro. Or about 62 million pound. And again, we're nowhere to be seen. So far, and this came from Build, reported by our friends at LFC Transfer Room, who are a great account, they say Jeremy Frimpong, 23, dreams of joining Liverpool, Manchester City or Real Madrid, but none of those teams have made concrete approaches yet. And remember, his 40 million euro release clause expires relatively soon. Craig, did you hear Andre is off to Fulham for 25 million, said Liam Nesty. I did hear of their interest, mate, when they moved on João Palhinha. I didn't know how far advanced it was or wasn't, but, you know, another one that I just, that we were interested in until he was available, and then we weren't interested again. And how many times has that happened in recent years? The only thing about Jude Bellingham is that he isn't available. That was Jurgen's words. The only problem about Jude Bellingham is that he isn't available. And then when he was, what happened? We went and hid in the corner. Leny Yoro, every publication, every Liverpool-based journalist or every Liverpool reporting journalist said Leny Yoro wasn't part of Liverpool's initial plans. But Liverpool are looking, monitoring. And because he's such a justifiable generational talent, if there's any indication that he doesn't go to Real Madrid, don't you worry, Liverpool will be ready to pounce. Today he's signing for Manchester United. More lies. Jamal said, Fabrizio said we had a ton of interest in Yoro but didn't act on it. Do you know what I mean? I've a ton of interest in Mila Kunis. Ton of interest. But I'm not going to act on it either. But nor am I going to be briefing the media every 2 minutes that if Mila Kunis is up for it, that without any hesitation, I'm ready to go. I say that bravely with the wife at the gym. We need owners that are in touch with Liverpool, said Anakin Skywalker, and thank you for your comment, mate. We do. But most importantly, mate, we need owners who want to win. Who want to win. Who don't want to be the cleverest people in the room. Who don't want to just keep hiring statistical analysis or analysts, excuse me. We want owners that actually want to win. Now, I don't want a Todd Bowley. I don't want to go that far. But yeah, I want an owner who looks at this club and thinks, we're probably 3 top-tier signings away from maybe winning the Premier League and then going deep in the Champions League again. And On a one-off game against Real Madrid in the Champions League in a final, anything might be possible. But we're just sitting back with our, I don't know, with our balls in our hands and just do nothing. Whitehammer said, I fully understand Klopp's decision to leave more. I don't know, mate. It's just frustrating at this point. Just you wait, Craig. We're going to sign 15 and 16-year-olds for our academy and loan centre back in January. See, I don't even want to belittle those signings because I do love the club going out there and bringing in a trainee only. The club going out there and bringing in a Bobby Clark. I love that. A Kate Gordon. I've nothing against that. They're great signings and I hope they develop into great first team players. But they're not ready now. Craig, can we talk about Simic and what do we know about him? Well, we know he's available for 40 to 45 million euro. We know that he's wanted by Atletico Madrid. We know that we've been linked with him. But we also know that those links were very quickly rubbished by a lot of the Liverpool reporting journalists, who said as things stand, Liverpool have no interest. Liverpool have shown no desire for him. Again, same old, mate. Link comes out. Everybody tells us that we're not interested. But you know what? Not one of these journalists have done. Not one. Told us who we are interested in. Because if you're being briefed and you're saying echo sources say Athletics understands, well then who are we after? How about doing the actual reporting? Will we sign anybody in this window, do you think? Said John. John, I have to believe that we will, mate. I have to believe that we will. I'm going to stay on for another 10 or 15 minutes. So any questions that you guys have, please put them into the chat. We'll do our best to get through them in the 15 minutes or so. Before we get stuck into the last 15 minutes, I just want to remind you about our podcast. You may or may not be aware. This week we launched the brand new Anfield Agenda podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Acast, Apple Podcast, or whatever your platform of choice is. 2 episodes have been uploaded. Today I did one that was just me. I was speaking about the Yoro situation, the Trent situation, and of course the owners. And the other one on Monday was recorded with myself and Jack Gill. And that'll be released every week, at least 1 episode, probably 2. If you do listen to the podcast, please check it out. Let us know your feedback. And of course, don't forget to leave us a response, or a review, I should say. Sorry. Aaron, thank you, Aaron, for your super chat, mate. Very kind of you. Aaron said, we get our hopes up, but same owners, excuses and waffle. Yeah, and then we get told we're greedy, selfish, unreasonable, want oil rich. We get told all the usual stuff, mate. We're not allowed opinions if we aren't at Anfield every week. We're not allowed opinions on anything other than just shut up and be a good boy and girl and watch FSG do nothing. Is it on YouTube? It isn't, Lisa. It might be on YouTube's podcasts, but no, we don't upload them to YouTube, Lisa. This is audio only. So one of the things that we'd heard from people was that sometimes, when they're driving and stuff, they'd love to listen. So we decided we'd do a podcast and put it out on audio only. And we already charted in the top 200 in the UK in sports podcasts. We broke in at number 122 after 1 episode. So obviously you guys are showing up as well, and we thank you so much for that. Any news on Mark Guehi? The only thing I'd seen on Mark Guehi today, I read it out earlier on. It says Liverpool's stance on Mark Guehi. Just a reminder that the Echo understands that Liverpool do not hold an active interest in bringing Mark Guehi to Anfield. The Crystal Palace defender has been linked with a number of clubs this summer, but Liverpool are not considering a move for him. This is the really infuriating bit. Centre-back is not a priority area for reinforcement for the club in this window, despite the exit of Joel Matip at the end of last season. A little bit here coming from the Netherlands about PSV Eindhoven. They say PSV Eindhoven are willing to break their transfer record to sign Sepp van den Berg from Liverpool this summer, but would prefer Liverpool to lower their price demands. I'm kind of torn on this one. I would like to see Sepp van den Berg go and establish himself and play if Liverpool don't want him. He seemingly wants out based off what we've seen. And I'm torn because I understand Liverpool looking for 20 million euro. I think it's more than fair. If we were to go in for a centre-back in Europe this summer, I'd certainly be expecting to spend above 16, 17 million pound. He was on loan at Mainz, did very well. So I think Liverpool are within their rights to ask for it. And if PSV Eindhoven perhaps can't come up with the money, maybe it's time to get creative. Maybe Liverpool let him go with a bigger sell-on clause or something. I don't know. But it doesn't look like he wants to be here. And it doesn't look like he wants to stay and fight for his place. What's this one? Danielle's Football Show said, I'd take Todd Bowley over FSG any day. Bowley has done some really silly stuff. He really has. Like, if ever these players that he signed on 6, 7, 8 year deals, if they don't work out, and some of them haven't, there's only so many Saudi clubs that will bail them out. Eventually they could be stuck with a lot of high earners underperforming that they can't shift and move on. So, you know, I think somewhere in the middle is probably a better... I like the way we are focused and data driven and look into transfers a lot. And usually our success rate's pretty good on transfers. But all of that just makes it more frustrating when we've seen the dream team put together. Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Julian Ward, Will Spearman, Dave Fallows, Barry Hunter and the rest of the recruitment team. Most of us believe when they're given the ability to sign somebody, more often than not, they make good decisions, they make good choices and get value for money. But right now, it doesn't look like they're able to do anything. Mike said, I missed his super chat. Sorry, Mike. Let me scroll back and see if I can find it. That was Aaron's one. I think I did John Murray's one. Whitehammer's one. Ah, there it is, Mike. Sorry, mate. You are right. I did miss it. If we weren't in the Champions League this season, I guarantee we'd have a signing by now. It's frustrating, isn't it? When you've got back into the Champions League after a year out, and a year out because we didn't strengthen the midfield, and we ended up bringing in Arthur Melo, and that was a shit show. So we've needed a centre-back for 2 years, haven't got one. This is now the third season that we're in for a central defensive midfielder. Third season, year number 3, still no solution. Mohamed Salah's future looks like he's going to leave for free. Still no thought process that maybe he might not have a great year, so maybe a bit of competition and a look to the future. Like, let's look at the Salah situation. If we sign Nico Williams tomorrow, you've got a collection of forwards that can at least put pressure on Mo to hopefully make him deliver in his last year and get his standard up. And if it doesn't, you've got an option. And if it does, well, then you've got somebody who has a year to work with Mo, learn from Mo and be ready. I understand that Nico Williams operates more on the left, but between him, Lucho, Gakpo, we could figure it out and we could get 2 wingers. But again, we want the best of everything. As I said earlier on, jam on both sides of the bread. Do you think Edwards wants to get rid of Klopp loyal players? No, but I do think he probably looks at the situation at Liverpool and there would have been some signings that he wouldn't have made. I feel comfortable enough saying that. I don't think he would have signed Dominic Szoboszlai as an example. Now, I'm not saying I don't want Dom. I really like Dominic Szoboszlai, but I don't get the feeling it would have been an Edwards signing. So I think he's probably looked on and thought, I also think that he's looked on and I never thought we had any intention of extending Mo, in all honesty. I didn't for 1 minute believe Edwards would have looked at the Salah situation and thought, let's throw more money at that. Because it doesn't seem the sensible thing to do. A little bit surprised that we're so calm about Virgil, because I think Virgil probably has 2 or 3 years left as a top. And the Trent one, look, I'm at a loss, as I've said for a long time. I don't understand the thought process behind letting him get to that situation. Lenny or Kwanzaa? Why does it have to be one or the other, mate? We need a centre-back regardless. Like, I love Kwanzaa. I think most of us in here are big fans of Jarell Kwanzaa. But Kanade finished the season on the bench. Didn't get into to the French team in the Euros. Has an injury record that's a little bit worrying at times. You can't really get 35 league games out of him or 30 league games out of him. And you've got Virgil, who, as we sit here, is in the last year of his contract with no competition or no challengers to his spot. So we'll probably have to play an ungodly amount of games again. So, again, we're just bare bones FC. I tried to trade for Quanta in FC24, but he's ranked so low. The Euros, the Copa America are over, so there's no excuse, said Bruno. Would you like gym owners? I don't know what that means, but not Saudi money, you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean, Alex, mate, no. When does Liverpool fly to America? I would have to imagine it's relatively soon. Our first game is the 26th into the 27th, so I might imagine we're going to be flying out there in the next few days. What's your opinion on Rio we signed from Chelsea? Have we signed him yet? I know Rio Nimoha, the youngster that were taken from Chelsea's academy. To the best of my understanding, that hasn't been confirmed yet, unless I've missed something. But yeah, looks like a good young talent. Chelsea very unhappy they're losing them from the academy, which of course I understand. But yeah, as of right now, I've not seen a confirmation of him, but it does look like we're going to get him in. And he looks like a great talent, but he's not going to be ready for a couple of years for the first team. Got dogs abuse of top Reds today for not being happy with FSG. Shay, I'm sick of them, mate. I'm sick of them. Those people that just are happy because they're sorted. That's all it is, Shay. It's the lads who are already there, their seats under, or in the seats every week. I don't know, they're happy. Yeah, are they happy? Well, they weren't very happy last year when they fucked up Klopp's last home game. You know, these top Reds who threw their toys out of the pram and didn't have flags and banners on the Kop for Klopp's last European game. Total embarrassment. But, you know, we're the ones, mate, who are embarrassing for looking for success, for trying to push the owners to spend money. We're the embarrassment. Was confirmed by Fabrizio. Again, I haven't seen a confirmation of it by Fabrizio. Yeah, I haven't seen... I've seen the confirmation that it's going to get done, alright, but I haven't seen a confirmation that it is done. Sean Handley said, FSG have no spine or ambition and just want to keep letting the club's value go up each year and play it off as if they're genius owners. Yeah. They're very good at spin and they're very good at manipulation, in my opinion. Jonathan said, Craig, you're honestly such a great guy. Best live streamer on YouTube. Thank you, mate. Look, I'm very fortunate. I've got a great audience. I've got a great community. And I know I have my moments and I can be a bit of a pain in the arse, but I do care. And it does mean a lot to me. But look, lads, I'm going to have to say goodnight because I've been on an hour and a half now. I've got some work to do to get ready for some other bits for tomorrow as well. But I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. There'll be a video coming out at midday. A video coming out at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then, of course, we'll be live again at 8:45 tomorrow night for another late night agenda. If you can, please do hit the like button for me before you head off. Don't forget to check out our new podcast as well on whatever podcast platform you listen to your podcasts on. Search Anfield Agenda, download it and give us a review if you'd be so kind. And also, don't forget the live shows. Cardiff and Liverpool just 2 weeks away now. Tickets for Liverpool are moving really quickly. There's still a handful available if you want to come along. And for Cardiff, there are tickets available as well. You can get your tickets in the link in the description. They're just 15 quid a pop. And I will see you tomorrow. Much love, my friends. I hope we have some better news to talk about tomorrow. Until then, thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.